Okay, picture this. It's the end of a long school day, and you've dealt with rowdy behavior, answered a dozen emails, and managed to calm the chaos in the classroom. You sit down at your desk exhausted, and just when you think the day is over, you realize you still need to make a phone call to little Johnny's parents. Welcome to the Teacher RockStar podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to providing valuable insights, practical tips, and proven strategies to equip new teachers for success. I'm your host, Steve Hiles, educator, published author, and instructional coach. Join me in each episode as we offer a supportive platform for navigating the challenges of the teaching profession. Now, in this episode, we're going to be talking about celebrating the positives with your parents. Instead of the usual, Johnny cut up his workbook with scissors again. Imagine this conversation instead. Hi, Mrs. Smith. I just wanted to let you know that Johnny was a star today. He took initiative during group work, stayed focused, and helped a classmate. I was really proud of him, and I thought you'd love to hear the good news. Well, what happens next? On the other end of the line, you hear the surprise, maybe even joy in Mrs. Smith's voice. You hang up, and instead of feeling drained from yet another tough conversation, you find yourself smiling. You didn't just brighten her day, you've uplifted your own. That's what today's episode is all about, flipping the script and celebrating the positives with your students' parents. We're diving deep into how this simple shift can build stronger relationships, create a more positive classroom environment, and make your teaching experience a whole lot more rewarding. All right, let's be real. Teachers are often the bearer of bad news, right? The moment a parent sees an email or call from you, their first thought is, oh no, what happened now? But what if we could change that narrative? What if instead of just contacting parents when something goes wrong, we reached out when something goes right? This small change can do wonders for your relationship with families. Suddenly, you're not just the disciplinarian. You're someone who sees and appreciates their child's strengths. Celebrating the positive builds trust. It tells parents, hey, I see your kid. I see their efforts and their growth. And trust me, that means a lot more to them than you know. Okay. Now, let's talk about what this does for you. Teaching can be exhausting mentally, emotionally, and physically. But when you take a moment to focus on the good, it breaks the monotony of managing challenges and discipline. It's like a breath of fresh air, a reminder of why you got into teaching in the first place. I remember a particularly tough year when I started making it a habit to send out at least one positive note each week. And let me tell you, it changed my entire outlook. It wasn't just about making parents feel good. It was about keeping me sane and reminding myself that there's always something worth celebrating, no matter how tough the week might actually be. Okay. Now, think about this from a parent's point of view. Imagine you're a parent, and every time you hear from your child's teacher, it's because something's wrong. That can be exhausting and demoralizing. So when a teacher unexpectedly calls with good news, it's like a breath of fresh air. I had a parent once tell me, you don't know how much it means to hear that my child is doing something right. We get so used to hearing the struggles that the good news catches us off guard. Those moments matter. They give parents something to celebrate with their child at home, something to be proud of. Okay.
Drowning in the challenges of classroom management? Do student behaviors leave you feeling overwhelmed and drained at the end of each day? Picture this, a classroom where your students are not just present, but fully engaged, focused, and eager to learn. Say goodbye to classroom management stress and hello to success. The Teacher RockStar Academy course is meticulously designed to equip you with the tools and strategies needed to skyrocket your effectiveness as a teacher. Curious to know if the Teacher RockStar Academy course is the missing piece in your teaching journey? If you're ready to reclaim control of your classroom and witness the incredible impact on your students, then use the link in the podcast description to learn more about this program.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but Steve, I barely have time to grade papers, let alone make positive phone calls. And I hear you, but here's the trick. It doesn't take that much time. Start small. Pick one student a day and send a quick note or make a short call. Even something simple as, hey, just wanted to let you know that Emma really worked hard today and I'm proud of her, can make all the difference in the world. And here's the beauty of it. Once you start, it becomes easier. It really does. Soon you'll find yourself looking for those positive moments, and your students will start to take notice too. Trust me, when kids realize that you're reaching out to their parents with good news, it changes the whole dynamic. And here's where it gets even better. This strategy has some surprising benefits. When students know that you're communicating with, the positives, they start to take pride in their work. I once had a student ask, "Are you going to tell my mom I helped clean up today?" You bet I did. Suddenly, they're not just focused on avoiding trouble, they're actively trying to impress you with their good behavior and effort. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but what about the kids who struggle? What if I can't find anything positive to say? Trust me, I've been there. But you know something? Every kid has something worth celebrating. Now, you might have to dig a little hard. Maybe they showed resilience or tried harder today than they did yesterday. Those moments are pure gold, let me tell you. And they're just as important as acknowledging the big wins. Okay. And here's the kicker. By making these positive connections, you're actually saving yourself time in the long run. When parents know that you're not just reaching out with bad news, those tougher conversations later on become much easier. I promise you that. You've already built a foundation of trust. Okay. So whether it's a quick email, a note, or a voicemail, these positive updates are well worth the minimal effort. Okay. And my friend, it's not just for the little ones. And before my middle and high school teachers tune out, I want you to listen up. This isn't just an elementary thing. Older students need those positive moments too. In fact, it might mean even more to them because they're not used to it. Okay. Can you imagine the look on a high schooler's face when their parent says, "Hey, your teacher called me about something good"? It's pure magic, folks. Okay. Now, let's be honest. Some days this job feels like wrangling squirrels. But when we can pause to genuinely celebrate our students, those are the moments that remind us why we started this journey in the first place. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, try this positive outreach. It's like giving yourself and your students a pat on the back without the extra paperwork. In the end, it all comes down to this. Don't wait for the end of the year or the next parent-teacher conference to celebrate your students with their parents. Make it part of your routine. Okay? Not only will it strengthen your relationship with families, it'll make your classroom a more positive place and keep you motivated in the process. Well, we have come to the end of this episode. I want to thank you for listening to the Teacher RockStar podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hiles. We'll see you same time, same place next week. And remember always, my friend, you got this.
You've been listening to the Teacher RockStar podcast with your host, Steve Hiles. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast as much as we have. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our ever-growing community of Teacher RockStars. Until then, thanks for listening.